So it's Monday night and time to cook a dinner, and John has requested beef burgers and chips. He loves them with chips, so I thought, right, this is so quick and easy. Let's just take you through it. So I've got my mince here. Now, John went shopping for me this weekend. We take it in turns, you know, it's sort of your turn this week, my turn next week. You're not allowed to go together, so there's no point in trying to do that. Unless you cheat, like I've seen people doing, and they take a trolley each and pretend they don't know each other, and then you see them down the aisle and there they are having a good old chin wag. Shall we get this? Shall we get that? No, very naughty. So I said some mince, and John came back, and now mince for beef burgers is the only time that I would say you want some with plenty of fat in it, because the fat will render down while it's cooking. And especially if you've got it on a very hot barbecue, it protects the meat inside and it dissipates as it's cooking, and it's where you get that lovely flavour. John said, well, you're posh and you think you have to have everything really lovely, so I got 5% fat. So unfortunately, I'm going against the grain here today. Normally it would be at least 15% fat. Today we're on 5% fat. Thank you, John. You know, he was doing his best. So I'm caramelising down, you can probably hear them, some onions. Now, the reason I'm doing that is it adds just that real sweetness within, and because when you cook, if you just chopped raw onion and popped it in there, it wouldn't really have cooked through. But now these, if you can see, I've caramelised down, and they're just really just on that turn where they'll just go in there really beautifully. So I'm just going to let them cool down just a tiny bit on the side. Now, the other things that I've got, well, sorry, there was the curtain. Breadcrumbs. So I've just made my own breadcrumbs. If I need more, I've got my trusty Paxo natural breadcrumbs, but hopefully this should be just about enough. I've got my little banty egg to bind it. Now, our neighbours across the way there, they've got bantams. Well, they've got geese as well, but I don't think I could stomach a goose egg in this. So a banty egg is just about the right size, perfect for it. The other thing I'm going to pop in is salt and pepper, and I think I'll just put in some parsley just to add a little bit of a frisson, and then I'll see how I'm going, but quite often I like to put a bit of ketchup in with the mix. I have chosen the 50% less sugar because, of course, we've got our caramelised onions for the sweetness. We don't need it ultra sweet, so that's going to do us well. So here we go. Popping in my caramelised onions. They can sit on top there. And go with quite a bit of pepper. Now, the amount of meat here is 750 grams. I'm going to make out of that probably 8 quarter pounders, so about 110 grams each for a quarter pounder. They're significantly big burgers. When you've got your husband working out on a farm all day from silly o'clock until midnight, particularly at this time of year, they get mega hungry. And so they don't want to be messing about with any tiny little thing. You've got to go big, you've got to go hard. So that's what we're going to do with these. Now, that's mixed those in nicely. Here we go for our little banty egg. Tiny little egg, but just enough. Pop them in there. Give them a quick beat. And then all the way through. Lovely. Squirt of this, I think it needs it. Oh, yum. That'll just add a really lovely touch. Might go a little bit of salt now. I don't want too much salt, but a little bit doesn't hurt anybody. Mash it about. Whiz in the breadcrumbs. That was just one old bread roll that I had sitting in the cupboard, and I thought, oh, well, that'll do. I don't need to use my ready-made packaged ones. I can use that up. Great way to use it up. And as you can see, this is really coming together. I should have been showing you as it went along. this is coming together nicely, and I'll come back to you once I've put them into my quarter pounder patties and you can have a look. And here we are, finished product. 8 lovely, lovely quarter pounders ready to go either on the barbecue, in the frying pan. We'll get some buns going for those that want it. John's going to have it with chips. I'm going to use up these old potatoes. The very end of my 25 kilo bag, I'll turn them into wedges and boil them first for 10 minutes and then pop them in oil in the oven. And they'll be superb with it. A bit of cheese on top if you want it, a slice of tomato. I should have told you I've got my heirloom tomatoes. We can go and have a little look at those. Here they are. Oopsie. Lovely heirloom tomatoes. They're fantastic. I've got another one here that's a slightly darker colour. That's a really, really deep red. So yeah, we enjoy those on them, a slice of those, and that is your very, very quick Monday night dinner, done and dusted, couple of minutes, and you're away. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so now we're nearly ready to pop those in the frying pan, which I have here ready, just warming up. But before I do, I'm going to show you the wedges that I've got in the oven. So these potatoes, we bought a sack of 25 kilos back in March when lockdown began, and we're just at the end of them, but they've been absolutely fantastic. I like doing these wedges. Whoops, daisy. I boil them for 10 minutes and they can sort of fall apart a little bit. They get nice and crispy. I do them in olive oil. I put a little bit of rosemary in with them. Now, my rosemary, I've got lovely rosemary in the garden, but it's slightly woody, slightly old, and it's fantastic to go under a lamb roast. But it's just a little bit too much for one of these. So what I have from Waitrose is a tiny little pot. And I just snip off the little soft shoots to go in there. And then once I've used most of those shoots, what I'll do is plant it out in the garden, and I've got a second plant that'll come up for all of my lamb roasts that I do through the winter. So fabuloso. Here we go. Let's finish off these. They're getting crispy now anyway. Okay, and here we are. Lovely quarter pounders. Do I say lovely too much? Probably. Warming up the pan. I've got it on medium heat. I don't want to overdo them. I don't want them burning and going all charred. As you can see, I have lightly dusted the surfaces with flour. Just helps to keep them together in one piece. You can see the parsley in there. I didn't show you that as I popped it in. And let's just sizzle away gently in the pan. Now that was a John size. This is a Sally size, just to differentiate there. So we'll cook these. Second John one. I'm not sure how long they'll take. We'll come back to you once they're done.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. The burgers are just about done. They're nicely fried. I've got them down on a low heat now, just keeping them warming. I'm putting cheese on top. You can see those two have got their cheese on. Put cheese on that. Actually, that piece was meant to go on that one. We'll let that melt down. It's always nicer if it's on top of the burger and it's warmed up and just melting in and oozing. In the oven here, I'm just going to show you my wedges. Wedges are looking awesome. Hear them rattling around in there, nice and crispy. Rosemary on them. We'll keep them keeping warm. I shall slice my tomato to go in the baps. Here are the baps. Tomato, nice heirloom. And we'll come back when it's all done. So here we are, the final thing. John with his burger, his second burger, and his chips, and Sally's little burger and chips. And I hope that you all try to do this yourselves. Very quick and easy on a Monday night. See you next time.